It is commonly said that an antagonist's arc begins with a tragedy or a misfortunate event that would go on to ruin their viewpoint towards the subject at hand. And while this may not be exactly the stereotypical antagonist, the person in question isn't exactly without guilt. On December 4th, 2021, a TF2 YouTuber by the name of MrSwipez1 would go on to make a video titled When an Actual Chad Plays TF2, which shows the streamer known as BaitBiceps, a Twitch streamer, playing TF2 and flexing his pec every time he would click his mouse. And while the video in question was very funny, this is not at all where their story ends. Sometime before the release of the video, which was being worked on, MrSwipez would commonly express to his Twitch chat his high opinions of BaitBiceps and continue to express that he would credit him, visit him on his stream, and even give BaitBiceps a large portion of money that the video had made. Now rolling back to January 14th, 2022, the conversation between the two was by all means normal, meaning that both MrSwipez and BaitBiceps were both calm, collective, and understanding about the current situation. MrSwipez will even go on to explain the current amounts that he had given to his family, prior hand. In response, BaitBiceps was understanding and calm and made it clear that he quote-unquote appreciated all the money that Swipez was giving him. However, the conversation took a sudden turn later that same evening when BaitBiceps would later send a message to MrSwipez saying, "I just hope he fulfills the agreement to give the $358. MrSwipez would reply saying that he would give the amount of money he had left, which turned out to be $350. BaitBiceps would immediately proceed to go on to not only remove MrSwipez on Steam, but also blocking him for seemingly no reason. Now, while I am not aware if there was a specific amount previously mentioned, we are given the information that Swipez would give whatever he had left after providing funds to his family. With this, BaitBiceps would go on to do much worse things. The first offense being lying to an individual who had known about the entire situation, going on to say that he, MrSwipez, is a liar, and didn't give him anything. Now, while on the second part is technically true, it would surprise me if anyone watching this didn't know the obvious reason as to why he didn't receive the $350. He blocked MrSwipez, therefore rendering him unable to provide any money that he had previously promised. Moving on to the second offense, false copyright claims against the aforementioned video. The only existence of the video remains in a reaction video by the Twitch streamer Forsen. In the video, there are no direct insults nor harassment that was directed at all at BaitBiceps or anybody else featured in the video, and would later promote his stream to MrSwipez' audience. There wasn't a single point in that video that could have violated any copyright claims whatsoever, thus making it a false copyright claim. This, however, would not be the only false copyright claim BaitBiceps would make against MrSwipez' videos. He would then proceed to copyright MrSwipez' 15,000 hour spy video. Now you might be asking, for what exactly? What could he possibly have on this? Let me show you the last remaining public footage of the exact moment that was copyright claimed.
There's like no BaitBiceps at all in this whole video, and then this is the moment. This is the moment he strike the video hold.
There. That right there. Less than half a second of his picture results in a copyright strike. Half a second. Now, while it can be argued that BaitBiceps was the main person featured in the first video, which in turn still shouldn't have been claimed, there is no reason why the other video should have been claimed either, which goes without saying, both claims are entirely false. Later that month, on January 29th, 2022, I had personally messaged MrSwipez to get more information. During this conversation, we had noticed that BaitBiceps was streaming, so I decided to ask him questions to see his side of the story. The following video is both me and MrSwipez' best interpretation of what was said. There we go. Let me pause this. At this point, I'm playing the role as a neutral spectator. I show that I take no sides, but I am straightforward and right to the point. This will be my method of achieving my goal. My goal is not to obtain information, but instead to see his reaction to what he believes is a spectator just wanting some info. It is at this point where he quickly looks down at what he uses to see chat, and notices a new message. In a few seconds, he will take a closer look at the message and read it.
Aquele momento passou. Mas tá tudo bem. Agora estamos aqui. Alguém compra isso pra mim?
Now imagine yourself in this position. You have recently pushed someone away that was trying to do something extraordinarily nice from you, of which you possibly took advantage for malicious intent. Now imagine in the middle of the night you receive a message from a complete stranger asking about the person you just pushed away for that reason. Your first and initial reaction might be to completely avoid the situation at hand. In this case, he has ignored the message I have just sent him. When he's looking at chat?
Yeah, he always looks down, trust me, to read the chat.
Okay. At this point, I have confirmation from Mrswipez that he has seen my message. Since just waiting isn't working, I will continue to be direct until I can either get double confirmation or a result that works in my favor.
At this point, man, it's just pointless because
I asked the specific question to stay in my acting role as a neutral bystander. At this point, it will only be a matter of time before he has to say something.
Google Translate tweet.
Creator.
Nope.
I don't want to talk about it. Thanks.
He said Swipes.
He doesn't want to talk about it, that's what he said.
He called me a traitor, bro. You heard
A
it?
traitor?
Yeah, you saved it, you gotta hear it. He said Swipes the traitor. I don't want to talk about it. He's using Google Translate.
I follow up with the question to confirm his feelings towards Mrswipez. Whether he said Ink the creator or Swipes the traitor doesn't matter. Either phrase could be put in and still convey the same meaning. This question is just to confirm his feelings.
He's not playing the game, man. He's focused on you.
Well, at least I got his attention, which is kind of my goal. This is, in fact, my goal. The more he thinks of the questions I ask him, the more he'll have to focus on answering them carefully. Doing this will eventually take his attention away from everything else, and more towards coming up with an excuse to use as an answer. He is about to answer my question. As you hear his answer, pay attention to the amount of times he has to backtrack to start the answer over, as well as the amount of times he changes visual direction. Take note that he is about to look down more times now than he will have for the rest of this section.
Because he didn't complete. Because he didn't complete the agreement.
He claims that Mrswipez, quote-unquote, did not compute the agreement, meaning that Mrswipez did not understand it, which, considering the current situation, seems extremely fabricated.
Look at the eyes, Guilt right there. Guilt.
Guilt is the perfect word to use in this situation. However, it is not the traditional type of guilt. He does feel guilt, but it is not because he is feeling it on his own. He feels guilt because someone is confronting him with the situation in demand of answers. This is the brain's natural response to being confronted with something you know you have done that was wrong. It is at this point where he makes the decision to push me away from him. Even though he might have done this, I had already achieved my goal. I had achieved it from the second he said he didn't want to talk about it. To finish this off, I have two things to say. First, to BaitBiceps. I don't know what happened, but judging by my analysis of the situation and your last message sent to Mrswipez, it seemed that he wasn't obviously the person who was supposed to see that message. I believe, personally, that there's a more devious reason as to why you did what you did. I don't entirely know for sure, but only time will tell. And finally, to YouTube. The last time I heard something like this happen was back some time ago involving Yandere Dev. Please, for the love of God, implement a legitimate copyright claim system, because literally anyone at any given time can just start striking videos left and right, ruining memories, that in most cases can never be relived ever again. That's all I have. If anybody has any more tips on the situation, please do not hesitate to bring this to light. Anything helps. And to bait once more, don't even try to copyright claim this video. It's under fair use. There is no harassment, insulting, or any sort of similar thing. Admit that you're wrong, and if you're a really good person, come clean. That's all I have. Thanks for watching.